Hello everyone, my name is Kate Marshall. The name of my channel is called Inked Paper Art, and today is day 128 of 365 days of junk journal ideas. Today we're going to be making some tabs, but we're going to use the tabs in a different way. So this is the tab punch I'm going to be using. It's the whale tail. You can see mine is all beat up because I use it every day. Whale tail punch, that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use chopper to make the tags. The tags, I'm just going to use some simple 8x8 cardstock that I'm cutting down to tag shapes. So first thing we're going to do is cut tags. I also have some plain cardstock that I will use, it's copy dyed, and I will use to punch some tabs out of this and then decorate them for using later in a journal. But the project we're making is going to be tags with tabs at the top, but used a little bit differently. And we're going to be decorating with some lace today. So I have some flat lace. I have my scrap bin right here, which has all kinds of other bits and pieces and whatever in there. So there's that. We're going to be playing today, so I'll try to do some pausing and editing so this video stays at a manageable time. Let's go ahead and start out by making tags. So speaking shouldn't be this difficult. I say this every day. So we're going to make some tags, and for these tags we're really looking for something with a little bit of a focal point on it already. Like any of these would make great tags. So we could use that page. Let's see what else we could use for tags. Something with, a noticeable focal point that you can relatively easily cut out. This one is also a good one. So there's a couple of those. They're basically the same. Let's use one of these little French. This is French Industrial. So I had to have this one, right? From Tim Holtz. So French Industrial, they have some patterns, some, writing, whatever on them. Let's see what else we have. Goodness, I don't want to spend an hour picking out tags, but yeah, we're going to be making some tags. So let's use these. Okay, so I'm going to cut these down to tag shape and size. I do want a pinky looking one. I have to find something pinky. And so what I'm going to do is about 3.5 inches by, say, 6 inches. And that's going to be my tag. I'll tell you the finished size once I get back from cutting. So there's that. Let's go ahead and cut these. Let's do this guy first, and we're going to do him at 3.5 inches, and I'm not going to care what's on the paper. I'm just going to treat it like a masterboard and cut 3.5, and then I would like him to be, let's do him 6 inches, so 3.5 by 6. I'm going to cut all my paper and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my tags here. I decided to do some out of that 8x8. I did one that was 3.5 by 6. And then I just made the rest, whatever was left over, into large tags. So I've got a couple different sizes. We really only need to make them this size, but in every journal I make, I find there's a huge place that needs a tag. So anyway, I made some extras. We're going to move on to punching out your tabs. So if you cut the size that I just told you, the 3.5 by 6, you ended up with some pieces that looked like this, that we can punch some tabs out of. Hopefully we're going to get 2 tabs out of each one of these. And so there's that. Go ahead and punch all your little tabs, and I'm going to do some out of coffee dyed, like I said, too. So we'll get those done. I'll pause and get the rest of my tabs punched out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've punched out my tabs. These were the ones out of the scraps. These were the ones out of the coffee dyed cardstock. This is 12 by 12 cardstock I get at Hobby Lobby and Coffee Dye, so there's that. And then we're going to move on to the actual part of this video. That was all prep work. So basically, we're going to take these tags and we're going to use a tab. Of course, it's going to be on the top, but I want to play around with a different idea. Usually, we just take a tab and we would fold it in half like this, just like that. And then you would add glue to the inside of your tab, and you would put it, wherever you wanted it. You'd line it up where the little, edges are here and here, and you'd glue that to the top of your tag. And you would call that, done, finished tag. I want to play with a different idea today where we layer up some fabric and some lace up underneath of this, maybe some fibers, maybe some crochet bits, and also on the top of the tab. So let's go ahead and play with that. Let me pull out some lace and get that started to get cut up. We're going to need pretty small pieces to play with these little tabs, but let me get that set up and I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see that I have taken some lace and I have cut it up into some strips, some pieces. You want some that are long and you want some smaller ones. And so basically my idea was to kind of make either a lace or fabric flip underneath your tag. So basically it's going to go like this. Let me use this. Can you guys see this better? Not really. Let's use this pink one. Basically, you're going to make a little lace or fabric flip on the top of your tags. So you know how if we try to put lace or something like on the bottoms, when we stuff it in a pocket, that lace can get ruffled up, damaged, torn off, whatever. So putting lace at the bottom of a tag that you're going to put in a pocket can be kind of tricky, right? So we're going to put a tab on the top of this. And we're going to use some lace to make a little lace flip or a little lace sample. You could even put like little lace sample numbers up here on the top of your tag, write them, draw them, stamp them, whatever. Use Sam Pool's stamp set. That would be perfect for it. And so we're going to layer up some other things though. I don't want just the one lace. I want to layer it up. And then I'm also going to layer on top of the tab as well. So I'm going to work this like a cluster basically, where I'm starting with the largest piece of lace on the bottom, and then I'm going to work my way forward. And so I don't like that pink just down there by itself. So I'm going to put some other lace there. And, this is not turning out exactly the way I'd like it, but, we're just going to go with it. We're just going to see what it ends up looking like. So I've got a bunch of lace on there, and I can just put my little tab on there. And we could Tim Holtz staple it. That's the best way, I think, is just to use the tiny attacher to attach that up there. You've got your little lace flip with all your little lacy bits, and you've got a tag. Now, in this instance, it's hiding a little eyeball, and I think that's kind of cute as well. You could have it be where, like mine, some of the lace comes over to the back side, and you have a little lace back there as well. So I think that looks good. You could make it super long and have lace, on the back as well. Just remember, if you're sticking it in a pocket, lace going down more than halfway might get a little wrinkled, tricky, torn off, etc. So then from here, I'm not perfectly happy with this, but just pretend I was for the moment. We would get it on there. We're not going to glue it or anything. We're just going to tiny attach right through this little, we're going to do it through the lace first. Tiny attach right through here. And then you're going to glue your tab on like that. Don't glue your lace though. Just use the tiny attacher. I think it's way easier. If you have to use glue, go for it. I think it's just going to be a mess though. So tiny attach it, put your tab over to cover your staple. Then from there, you're just going to glue your tab on, stencil, stamp, whatever number, decoration you want up there. Or you could take more little pieces of lace. Like I have these cute little shell fan things. And you could continue to decorate up on the tab with just little bits of applique or something like that, and continue to work with your pieces. So let's go ahead and do some for real now that I've given you the idea, and we'll see how far we get. I may not have chosen the right tags for this project. Let's try one that's a little more plain. Let's do this one. Okay, so for this guy, maybe we'll use the white lace in the background. I like that. That looks nice. And I do want some to flip over to the other side. So I'm going to leave that long and flip it over to the other side, just like this. And then let's use a wider one. So I have 2 of these little triangles. Let's use that there. And you can stagger them. They don't have to be right on top. You could pull one off to the side like this too. That's all right. Let's pull that one off to the side. I don't want to go over my tag, tag top, but you know, I don't want to lose my tag shape up here. So there's that one. Let's talk about putting maybe the gold. Let's see the gold in here. If we layer up the gold, I think that might look nice. I do like that. Okay, so that's good for me. And then, you know, you're going to pick out whatever kind of tab that you want. I should have some maybe that are a little darker in color, like this black and white one. The black and white one would be perfect. I'm going to fold it in half, get it on there, and we're going to staple, and we're going to have this cute little lacy flip at the top of a relatively plain tag. So you know how you buy digitals and they often have digital printed tags that you can print on cardstock? You can just print yourself off some of those ready-made tags and add this little lacy bit to the top with the little topper. I need to go find my Tim Holtz attacher, so hang on just one second. All right, for real, I went and got my Tim Holtz tiny attacher. I kind of forgot about that part. I was excited to play with the lace again. Okay, so there's that. I'm happy with the placement of it. I just want to make sure it's relatively, you know, straight down there. There we go. And I'm just going to tiny attach those right up there. And my lace is folded over. I'm happy with it. I might give it 2 or 3. It doesn't really matter because they're all underneath the little thingy anyway, the tab anyway. I do want to ink this before I do it, just because the Tim Holtz cardstock does have a white core. So there's that. And then we're going to get our glue. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac for this project. Yeah, there was some question there too. I'm going to use some Fabri-Tac for this project, just because we're going over multiple layers of lacy goodness. So I'm going to get quite a bit of Fabri-Tac in there. There's that. And we're going to cover it up, still lining it up, still using it as a tab. It doesn't fall off before I can hold it. Okay, so we're good. We have our tab on. So we have this super cute little frilly lacy top on the tags. Yesterday I stuck doilies on the top of tags. Today I'm sticking real lace on the top of tags. Apparently I am decorating the tops of things now. I haven't ran out of ways to decorate the bottoms just quite yet, but we are working on some tops. So here's what that looks like when that one is done and glued down. I kind of missed that staple right there, but who cares? So there's that. I could add a little piece of lace, a little tiny doily applique right there would cover that just fine. So I can cover it, no big deal. And then on the back, I've got a tiny little bit of lace sticking there. Not a lot, but that's okay. There we go. So there's our first one. Let's keep going and see what else we can come up with. I did uncover some fabric back here too. So maybe we'll use some fabric, like right here, some pinky peachy colors. Let's use that pinky peachy color with this girl maybe. I don't know. Kind of looks like it goes with it. Maybe this Frenchy one. Okay, so there's that. We need some lace for sure. And so I'm going to use that one. Get some fabric up there. Never fails when you're filming a video and you haven't had a tickle or a cough or anything in your throat all day long and you try to do a video and then there it is. So I am wrapping some lace around to the back. I'm going to wrap a little less of this cream back there. There we go. Got a nice looking stagger here in the front. Just trying to keep my tag shape. I don't want to go over the points of my tag right here. I just want to keep that shape. And I am going to add this gold into this one as well. And I would like one of those points. And let's staple that. This time I will try to just do 2 staples. And let's pick out a tab. We could go like same. Let's use the blue. I like the blue. So we're just going to fold it in half. Ink it quick. Add our glue. I don't know what's going on there. My voice starting to go. Sorry about that. Okay. So I am having a live sale tonight, guys. I am back from vacation, sort of. You know, I didn't really take a vacation, but I am back. We are going to have a live sale tonight. The live sale starts at 6. Registration instructions and all of that are in the description box below the video for the live sale. So yeah, hopefully you guys will come over and say hello. So there's this one. We just need to hold that for a minute because, you know, it's not going to just sit there. You got to hold it for a second because it's Fabri-Tac and a bunch of lace. Now, if you do go over the edge, so like, I don't know how much you can see it. I've gone over the edge and it's starting to kind of take away my tag shape. Just go back through and trim that lace that's hanging over the same way that you would paper. And speaking of paper, you can also layer up a bunch of papery bits up here and have little paper, little ruffle cluster whatever's at the tops of tags. There's nothing wrong with, you know, making your clusters up here. So that's what we're doing. Now you could add buttons, you could add an eyelet and hang a charm down there. And I think this one I would like to add an eyelet, like a bronze eyelet, some chain and some charms down here, some beads, and all of that is just at the top of a regular tag. Now we should be inking our tags before we do this, but I didn't want to take the time on video. So there's that for you too. Make sure that you're inking them. There's 2 of them done. I'm going to make one more quick and then we're going to do something else. I don't know what, but something. All right. So for this one, I know that I like the, this. Maybe not the coffee dyed. Maybe this one today. The regular. So let's get a bit of that. And you know, this is a great project. Just like chop into your fabric scraps. It's a great project for using up scraps. And you know, we did the clusters recently. Doesn't matter. We're still going to use up more scraps. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to get this white lace up there. I'm going to wrap that right around. I don't care that it's going to hang over now because I'm just going to chop it with scissors. So there's that one. And I do like to add, same as my clusters, a little bit of dark. You know, it's nice to have everything light too, but I like to add a little bit of dark. So I have this gold lace. I'm just going to snip off a rather large piece. I don't know, 5 or 6 inches. And we're going to wrap that in here. That's going to be super cute. Very nice. And you might want to just go through and pin them all together with like a paper clip or a clothespin even, and then come back later and do, you know, your stapling and your tabs. Let's see. I think this needs to be under the white. Nope, it needs to be on top. We just need to find the right position. So there's that one. And which side is more gold? This side is more gold. Maybe we just want those ruffles going off to the side. Or like that. Yes, like that's good. Let's do that. Right in between. So I'm staggering the lengths. This is the longest, then the gold, then that one's underneath. Let's do that. Let's staple that on there. We're just going to leave everything hang over the back. And I'm going to give this one 2 as well. We're going through some pretty thick fabric. There we go. And for this one, what kind of tab are we going to do? Coffee dye. Do we want to do this kind of a tab? Let's do this one with a little bit of handwriting. I don't want to do the black. Let's do the handwriting. The handwriting will be on the back, but who cares? There we go. Actually, this guy right here is the matching one. We're going to use this one. Nothing like wasting time at the end, right? Okay, so there's that. I hope you guys are liking and subscribing to the channel because I know a whole lot of you watch the videos every day and are not subscribed. And if you wouldn't mind, it does help it helps let me know that you guys like watching the videos, that you want me to keep doing 365 series, and that you want to see more ideas because, you know, everybody's brain works a little different. Mine just works a little crazy and it can't think of things normal. Like I'm sitting here and I'm looking at tabs and I'm going, but why can't we do something else with them? It's just kind of like, you know, the same old every time. I just want to do something a wee bit different. And I'm not done either. This is just one part of this idea. It's all I can fit in a 20-minute video, guys. Okay, so I'm going to cut this little extra lace off so we can see what this guy's going to look like. There we go. And I just think, again, it just helps keep that tag shape. So there's that. And he's going to need held down, but he's got his little layers here. And then I am going to come up here and do a little more decoration and embellishing at the top with some tiny little doily bits, some tiny little flowers. I could put some buttons up there because, you know, we all like to use these things, but it's not always a good idea to put them at the bottoms of tags because they go in pockets. So there's that. Today's idea is playing with tabs in a different way. We've made some fabric flips, some lacy fabric flips, really. It's lace flips on the tops of tags. You could just do them as samples. Like you could just layer up one lace, only one, and do it as a sample. Like if I used this here and I just put a nice piece of lace on it and put my tab over the top, and it would just be a lace sample on the, you know, invoice right here. It would actually be really cute like that. We could even use this black and white one and just go like that. And it's just a lace sample. And then I would just put a little numbered tag up here. And this is the lace pattern that it is. You know what I mean? If you've ever seen lace samples, you know what those are. And you know what I'm looking at there. And I do like the way you get a little extra frilly bit back in the back. If you don't like that, of course, you could just cut it off flush. But I do like how it hangs over there. Doesn't impede with anything. You can still flip it up to journal. So that's the idea, guys. I hope you like it. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. And I hope to see you guys tonight. Have a great Tuesday. I'll see you later. Bye.